Alrighty kids, now it's time for number 9 in my series of video game movie reviews. With this 2002 B movie that began a series that to date has 6 entries. 6! That was a really weird way to do 6. So here we go! Resident Evil is the 2002 film adaptation of the 1996 survival horror classic of the same name. It's written and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson of Mortal Kombat fame and stars Milla Jovovich, Michelle Rodriguez, and some other people you've seen before. Resident Evil was the first rated R video game movie ever made. And it's not just a little rated R, it is legit rated R. There's blood and guts and violence and just all the great stuff that we're looking for here. This series as a whole has kind of become the video game movie punching bag. Whenever talking about video game movies, people typically mention the Super Mario Brothers movies and then Resident Evil. People slam this series left and right and talk about how god-awful it is. And yes, admittedly, it's not Shakespeare, but neither was Mortal Kombat, and everybody talks about how great that was. Regardless of what you think of the rest of the series, much like Mortal Kombat that came before it, this movie is fun. But is it good? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. First, the story. This movie does not follow the video game story beat for beat, by any means. It does cherry pick a few things here and there from the game series and kind of make its own story, but it in no way, shape, form, or fashion follows that story at all. I mean, there's a few things, but for the most part, it is a fully original story. And that might be what irritates some fans. However, do you really want to see the exact same story you already know played out on screen? I don't know, judging by some of the comments I see online. Yeah, some people do. But I don't. I've mentioned this in the past, but I'm okay with the adaptations of known properties changing things around. As long as they hold on to the spirit of that original property, it's fine. It's a new medium, you have to change things around. Some things that are absolutely riveting in a video game just won't translate to film well, and vice versa. Some things in movies don't translate to games well. Same thing goes for books to movies, and you get the idea. It's okay to change things as long as you preserve the essence of what that original thing was. And I think that they do that here. While no, this doesn't follow the original story at all, it does seem like it takes place in that same universe. Overall, it keeps the spirit of the game. A zombie outbreak with a convoluted medical conspiracy going on in the background, with lots of twists and turns and ridiculousness going on. Yeah, that's this movie. The basic storyline here is that Milla Jovovich's Alex wakes up with amnesia inside of a mansion. She then meets up with some commando types that explain to her that this mansion is just a front to an underground facility owned by the mega corporation Umbrella. In said facility, there's been an outbreak of a virus and everything's shut down, and they're here to go infiltrate the facility and see what the hell's going on. So they take her, amnesia and all, down to the facility, break in, and then insanity ensues. There's lots of twists and turns and backstabs and intrigue, and then the end of the movie happens, which I won't spoil here, but man, it's fucking awesome. The last few minutes of this movie goes way off in another direction that you don't see coming. Though if you are a fan of the original game series, you should see coming. That's all I'll say in case you haven't seen the movie. But overall, the ending is awesome. I said it wasn't Shakespeare. It's gonna piss a lot of people off, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The story in this movie is actually better than the original game story. Wait, hear me out. That's not me in any way saying that this movie's story is some high concept Oscar-winning material. But what people need to realize is that the original game story wasn't either. It was interesting and it was great for a game, but it was pretty damn light and hammy. Do you remember? Do you really?
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
Now don't get me wrong, I love it, but when comparing apples to apples, the movie's story is just more cohesive. Still love the game though. Overall on the story front though, I'd say that the story's fine. It's not amazing, but it's not bad either. It is interesting enough to move these characters forward to get into the situations we really want them into. Killing motherfucking zombies! On the acting front, we're in about the same place. A lot of the acting in parts is really hammy and grandiose. But much like Mortal Kombat before it, it just kind of works here because the movie really doesn't take itself too seriously. Much like that film, Resident Evil blends that hamminess and badassery to great effect. And it's just that right balance so that you can have fun. Because that's what this movie's ultimate goal is to have fun. I don't think they set out to tell some great grandiose story here. They set out to have some jump scares, some cool scenes, and show you a good time. And I think they succeeded there. Speaking of jump scares, there's a lot of them. When it comes to jump scares, I typically think they're kind of a cheap way of portraying horror. A jump scare is not really horror, it's just something loud and unexpected usually that scares the shit out of you for just a moment. Real horror is dread that stays with you even after said movie's over. And when movies have an over-reliance on jump scares, it gets really old really fast. Jump scares in small degree can be a good time. You expect it, you know it's coming, and the fun is just kind of being really tense and waiting for it. When's it gonna happen? Here it comes! There it is. And yeah, that's a good time here and there, but with some movies it's throughout the whole entire movie and it just kind of gets old. Resident Evil does have quite a few jump scares, but the movie doesn't necessarily rely on them. Honestly, it doesn't even seem like they're going for horror or to scare you that much when they happen. It's more of just kind of a fun situation whenever they pop up. Most of the situations where they happen, it's telegraphed on screen and you know it's coming from a mile away. So yeah, the movie does have them, but it's just enough. It's just at that limit to where they didn't need to do any more, and that's where they stopped. Whether that was by design or not, I don't know, but hey, good on you guys for that. So this is an action horror movie, so how's the action in it? That is definitely one of the bright points of this movie. The movie handles action very well. Yeah, a lot of it's way over the top and crazy, but it works here. It's never unbelievable within the confines of this world they've created. And following Milla Jovovich's badass Alice character from beginning to end is fun as hell. And she is a badass in this movie. There's some really great action set pieces that they set up here. And all of them are really fun to watch. And unlike some other video game movies, it doesn't ever really feel like you're going from level to level like a video game. It feels like an actual movie. Beginning, middle, end. So let's talk some special effects. It's 2002, we have a big monster movie to make. We got all these cool practical effects we're gonna put in there, but for some of it, we're gonna use this CGI stuff to make it happen. And it's gonna look great! And that's where they fucked up. The practical effects here all look really good, as they usually do. And while there's not a ton of CGI in the movie, what's there, for the most part, looks fine, I guess. But there is some of it that just hasn't aged well. The biggest offender here would be the monster, the Licker. I don't know if it looked good back in 2002 when I first saw this movie. I didn't notice it as much then, but now I definitely notice it. I mean, it's passable. It's not like Mortal Kombat Annihilation bad CGI, but the few scenes where this creature does show up and it is CGI, it is really noticeable and just hasn't aged well. As I said, it's workable and it doesn't ruin the experience, but it's definitely there and you're gonna notice it. The few other things they did in CGI in this movie look fine. It's not a really CGI heavy movie, but the things that they did do, they work. Probably because most of it is inanimate objects, and that's easier to believe than a living creature. Even if that creature is not a real creature like the Licker, but you know what I mean. The zombie makeup effects and all the creature effects that are practical all look great. And overall, I'd say the effects in general are all pretty good. The score, especially the opening theme by Marilyn Manson, is awesome too. It's very memorable and really well done. Though the rest of the music in the movie is more throwaway early 2000s screamo and commercial pop metal. Like a lot of movies from the early 2000s, the scenes where this music shows up really dates the movie. Granted, the movie doesn't use that music a lot, but there are a couple of times when this music shows up and you know immediately when this movie was made. At the end of the day, guys, this is a fun, check your brain at the door, enjoyable movie that the video game movie bandwagon haters love to trash. And that honestly just makes it all the more sweet when I'm able to say that Resident Evil is absolutely, without a doubt, worth a buy, motherfuckers. I love this guilty pleasure that I feel absolutely no guilt about. So don't believe all the hate and give this little movie a chance. So there it is, guys, my review of Resident Evil. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a thumbs up. And if not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.
You're all going to die down here.
So when the hell are people in zombie movies gonna realize what the fuck they're dealing with? I mean, in almost every zombie movie out there, after a few people have died and they've shot the shit out of people's bodies and they finally land a headshot and figure out, oh, look at that, it kills them. It's like some big fucking revelation to them. Like they've never heard of a zombie before. I mean, come the fuck on, people. If a zombie apocalypse ever did happen to happen, believe me, the first thing I'm doing is popping motherfuckers in the head. Ah!